At a media briefing convened today, a former inmate of the Welikada Prison commented on the deaths of inmates at the prison on the 9th of November 2012 during a prison riot. He says that he is prepared to testify on the events which transpired on that day before any court or commission. He appealed that an immediate investigation be undertaken into this incident.
මම මගේ ඇසින් දුටු සාක්ෂිය මම ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න කැමතියි. මොකද එදා ඒ සිදුවීමේදී මම දැක්කා රාත්‍රී 12න් පසුව.
I am prepared to give my eyewitness testimony before any commission. I saw what happened when they came back after midnight. The army personnel first arrived there at about 1 p.m. and conducted search operations, angering the inmates. They assaulted inmates and threw tear gas into closed cells. The inmates were rendered unconscious. The army personnel left the complex by breaking down the front door. They entered without authorization. They entered by force, carrying firearms even while the jailers were telling them not to go in. They expected that the inmates would come outside when they broke down the front entrance. They went outside and fired on the inmates who were inside. They fired tear gas. 2 inmates were seriously injured. It was at this moment that the inmates started taking firearms from the prison armory. One of the injured inmates was in a very serious condition. He was close to death, and it was at this moment that the others put him into a 3-wheeler and went outside. They were not carrying firearms. They did not expect that security forces would open fire on them when they went outside. The security forces fired enough rounds to destroy the 3-wheeler and kill everyone inside. After midnight, they entered the prison. The prison official there at the time was the chief jailer, who was called Kuda Bandara. Even at that time, this jailer had managed to bring the inmates under control to a great extent. At that time, there was a death row inmate named Lester who was close to where the jailer was. When the army came in and opened fire, he fell dead on the spot. Not only that, shortly afterwards, an official at the Central Bureau came there in civil attire. He was wearing a yellow t-shirt. Prisoners were selected according to a list that he had and then was shot. I saw this with my own eyes. There was a suspect named Susara next to me. This army official assaulted him in a very inhumane way, and when that happened, he said, "Please sir, do not kill me." He was dragged away and shot and executed. The inmate known as Amila was also dragged out and shot right in front of us. I can state with responsibility that I witnessed these 2 murders taking place before my own eyes, and that this was done right in front of the prison's commissioner at that time, Kodipili. You can exhume the bodies and see how they were shot. All of them were lined up and shot. I state this with responsibility and am prepared to testify before any commission and any court.
බන්ධනාගාර එවකට හිටපු බන්ධනාගාර කොමසාරිස් කොඩිප්පිලි මහතා ඉදිරි පිට තමයි වුන් අරන්ගෙන් ඝාතනය කරේ. බොඩිස් ටික ගොඩ අරන් බලන්න පුළුවන්. වෙඩි දීලා තියෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා. ඒ වෙඩි දීලා තියෙන හැම එකක්ම හේතු කරලා වෙඩි තියපුවා තියෙන්නේ. වගකීමෙන් කියනවා මම ඕනෙම කොමිසමකට ඕනෙම අධිකරණයක් ඉදිරියේ සාක්ෂි දෙන්න සූදානම්.